Hey guys, we're in day 193 in our Bible reading plan, 1 Chronicles 10 through 13 and Proverbs 21, second half, 17 through 31. Did you know that there's abundant joy and success for the heart that seeks God and does what he says? Obedience is pleasing to God. I think you probably know that, but a good review here as we leave the life of Saul and get into the life of David. And so chapter 10 talks about the recaps shortly the death of Saul and how remember how his head was he was hit and he told his armor bearer to kill him and he wouldn't, and then they cut off his head and then he died. And I thought this stuck out to me after yesterday's reading in chapter 10 verse 13 that Saul died for his breach of faith. He broke faith with the Lord in that he did not keep the command of the Lord and also consulted a medium seeking guidance. Of all the things that Saul did, this was the thing that was a problem. Not doing what God says is a sign that you don't believe him. And so it's not that disobedience sends you to hell. That's not, in fact, I don't know where Saul is, but it's that obedience reflects what you believe about God. And a breach of faith is when you don't believe God. And so is your life reflecting faith or a breach of faith? So David didn't live perfectly, but he trusted God and he was a man after God's own heart. Now we start seeing the life of David. Remember, the rest of the book is going to focus on him. And one of the things that you're going to start seeing as you read chapter 11 and into 12 is that people were coming to David. David didn't have to go recruit him. And it's because the Lord, in chapter 11, verse 2, the Lord said to him, "You shall be shepherd of my people Israel, and you shall be prince over my people Israel." It wasn't David's plan. He didn't wake up and say, I have a big dream. I want to build this company. And he really did what God called him to do. He lived the purpose of God in his life. And David became greater and greater. Of chapter 11, verse 9, for the Lord of hosts was with him. And greatness, I think it looks different in God's eyes than it does in the world. I've talked a lot about that, and I believe that to be true. But yes, I think it's something to reflect on today. And then we go through chapter 11, and it lists sort of this hall of fame of the people who fought for David. Benaiah sticks out in verse 22. He struck down a lion in a pit on a day when the snow had fallen, just a sign of his strength. And others, of course, the story of the men who brought water for David. David said, I'm not going to drink that. I'm going to pour it out to God. And so a lot going on here. The men who came to him were sent by God. They all were ready for battle. Chapter 12, if there's a theme that comes up, is that they were ready for battle. When you join the king's army, are you ready for battle? And there's some spiritual applications there. I love verse 32 of chapter 12. There's Issachar. Of their tribe came men who had understanding of the times. And may that be our prayer today, that God will give us understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do. May God give us understanding to know what we as Christians ought to do. And I love this at the end of chapter 12, verse 38. All the rest of Israel who were of a single mind to make David king. David moves into his city that moves from being called Jabus to being called the city of David, despite the men of Jabus taunting David that he would not get it. He did. Why? Because the Lord was with him and there was joy in Israel. A great way to end the reading today. There's joy for the people who do what God says, who have a heart that longs for more of God. Is that you today? Are you more like David or more like Saul? And may God give us a heart to obey him all the time. Love you guys.